Have you ever felt that strange, unsettling feeling around someone, a sense that something is just off? In Stoic philosophy, we're encouraged to understand human nature and respond to all things with calmness and clarity. Yet, when it comes to confronting people who embody harmful or even malicious behaviors, we often recognize them without needing a precise definition. Today, we're diving deep into this concept of evil not as a grand, mystical force, but as a real and dangerous human behavior that can show up in our daily lives. By understanding these signs, you can better protect yourself and face even the darkest situations with a calm and resolute mindset. Before we begin, if you're on a journey to develop resilience, wisdom, and inner peace, subscribe and join the Stoic Resonate community. And if you find these insights helpful, give this video a like to help others discover it. Let's uncover the signs to watch for when dealing with those who reveal their true, malevolent nature. Sign 1: the reformed reputation. Imagine uncovering the truth about someone. Perhaps they've manipulated others or inflicted harm for their own benefit. When such individuals realize that their deceit is exposed, they rarely admit to their faults. Instead, they pivot quickly, attempting to rebuild their image with a new story. This is a calculated strategy. By rewriting their narrative, they attempt to manipulate your perception and sow doubt within you. According to Stoic philosophy, reputation is an external thing, something we cannot control but must be wary of in others, especially those who change it for their advantage. The malicious person will not own up to their past. They'll spin a tale that makes them look reformed or misunderstood. They'll play the role of the victim, the misunderstood, or even the redeemed. This way they try to create confusion, making you question whether your initial judgment was too harsh. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Evil individuals know the power of controlling your thoughts about them and will exploit it to evade responsibility. It's essential, then, to stay grounded in your perception. Stoicism teaches us that we must not be swayed by changing impressions, but rather remain anchored in truth. When someone's actions contradict their new reputation, remember that they may be hiding something. Protect yourself by not letting their story overwrite the reality you've observed. Evaluate actions over words. Trust what you've seen, not what they tell you to see. This will not only safeguard you, but also sharpen your own understanding of human behavior. Sign 2: the unsettling vibrations. Have you ever felt uneasy around someone despite their outward friendliness? This isn't paranoia, it's your intuition sensing something deeply wrong. In Stoic thought, emotions and energies are as real as the physical actions people take. When someone with harmful intentions tries to manipulate or control, their very presence can feel unsettling. This discomfort is an indicator that your instincts recognize a hidden danger, a kind of vibration that reveals their true nature. Stoics believe that a wise person maintains peace within themselves, regardless of external situations. This internal peace allows us to recognize subtle cues, like those strange vibrations from malicious individuals. When someone's energy feels toxic, it often comes from a place of control, deceit, or manipulation. This negative presence is not always overt, but can manifest through micro-behaviors like unnecessary questions, excessive monitoring, or uncomfortably close interactions, all attempts to establish dominance. When confronted with this kind of energy, practice Stoic detachment. As Epictetus reminds us, people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Instead of reacting emotionally, remain observant yet distant. This calm distance weakens their power, as they rely on emotional responses to exert control. Maintaining your inner peace is both a defense and a way to stay clear-minded in situations where others try to cloud your judgment. Sign 3: the web of lies. Lies are not only acts of deception, but also acts of entrapment. Each new lie creates another layer in a web, weaving a trap that ensnares both the deceiver and, potentially, their victim. When a harmful person is cornered with the truth, they rarely choose to admit it. Instead, they layer new lies over old ones, trying to cover their trail. But this behavior only reveals more about them and makes their deceit more apparent. For the Stoic, truth is a core value, one that underpins our integrity and sense of justice. Evil individuals, on the other hand, regard truth as a malleable tool, something to twist in their favor. The more lies they add, the deeper they sink into their own pit of deceit, distancing themselves from any possibility of redemption. Epictetus aptly remarked, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." A person stuck in their lies becomes ignorant of the truth, unable to see beyond their deceit. In relationships, this pattern is particularly damaging. When you confront someone who lies without remorse, remember that breaking trust is a conscious choice for them, one that undermines any real connection. Don't allow yourself to become entangled in their web instead. Stay rooted in your own principles. Honor the truth you know and stand firm in it. Let their lies be their own burden to bear. Sign 4. Opportunistic presence. One of the clearest signs of someone's true intentions is their selective presence. When a person only appears when they need something from you, they reveal the self-centered motivations driving their behavior. In the early stages of a relationship, these individuals may seem supportive, present, even dependable. But as time reveals their character, their appearances become increasingly transactional. They're there only when they can benefit. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This wisdom speaks to the importance of genuine character over mere appearances. Those who only show up to serve themselves are not interested in mutual respect or shared values. They are driven by self-interest. When they know you've seen through their facade, they may try harder to hide their intentions, appearing friendly in your presence, only to vanish once they get what they need. Recognizing this pattern is crucial to protecting your own boundaries. By limiting your expectations of them, you maintain control over how much they can impact your life. Instead of relying on them, prioritize relationships with those who are there for you unconditionally. For the Stoic, true companionship is built on mutual respect, trust, and shared purpose. Let those principles guide your connections, and let go of those who show up only when it serves them. Sign 5. Manipulative kindness. Some people hide their true intentions behind acts of kindness, strategically using generosity to manipulate others. This type of behavior is subtle yet highly calculated, making it difficult to detect at first. The Stoics teach us to judge actions by their intentions, not just appearances. Those who engage in manipulative kindness often aim to create a sense of indebtedness, where others feel obligated to repay their favors. True kindness, by contrast, is free from conditions or expectations. It's a genuine act that doesn't seek control over the recipient. Over time, this form of manipulation can create a power imbalance in relationships, leading to emotional dependence. The Stoics believe that being mindful of this power dynamic is essential for protecting one's freedom. When someone does a favor only to leverage it later, they demonstrate a lack of genuine goodwill, a trait far from the Stoic ideal of virtue. As Epictetus noted, we must guard against becoming emotionally tied to those who wield influence over us through calculated acts. The Stoics emphasize that real kindness is often quiet and unassuming, without an agenda. If someone frequently reminds you of what they've done for you, their kindness may be a tool of control. Stoicism urges us to develop discernment so we can recognize when apparent generosity comes with strings attached. Remaining self-sufficient and detached from such individuals preserves our inner peace and autonomy. Learning to identify manipulative kindness helps us stay vigilant against hidden motives. By focusing on intentions rather than appearances, we align ourselves with the Stoic virtues of wisdom and honesty. This clarity empowers us to engage with others on our terms, protecting our freedom and ensuring that we form relationships rooted in genuine respect, not covert manipulation. Sign 6. Habitual victimhood. Those who constantly cast themselves as victims, even when they are not, often use this mindset as a tool to evade responsibility or manipulate sympathy. According to Stoic teachings, a true Stoic embraces accountability and resilience, refusing to see themselves as helpless. By consistently portraying themselves as wronged or mistreated, habitual victims seek to extract emotional responses and support, even when unwarranted. This behavior can become draining for those around them and may lead to a sense of false guilt in others. For the Stoic, victimhood is an obstacle to personal growth and self-awareness. Habitual victims often refuse to take responsibility for their actions, blaming others for their misfortunes. This pattern can be damaging not only to their character but also to those who fall into the trap of constantly rescuing them. It undermines mutual respect and places the burden on others to fix things, rather than empowering the individual to learn from setbacks. Victimhood can be a means of manipulation when used to elicit sympathy or favor from others. Stoicism advocates for resilience in adversity, teaching that hardship is an opportunity to grow rather than a reason to complain. People who routinely victimize themselves may do so to avoid self-reflection, allowing them to remain stagnant rather than evolve through challenges. Recognizing this pattern in others is essential for guarding our own peace. In relationships, constant victimhood can lead to emotional fatigue, as it requires continuous reassurance and attention. By cultivating an inner resilience, we free ourselves from the draining influence of those who use victimhood as a tool. A Stoic response to such behavior would be to offer support without enabling it, encouraging self-reliance rather than fostering dependence. Sign 7. Blatant hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is a telltale sign of moral corruption, especially when an individual expects others to uphold standards they themselves disregard. Stoicism champions integrity, calling for consistency between beliefs and actions. Those who hypocritically condemn others while acting in the same way lack the self-awareness required for genuine growth. This contradiction is often masked by arrogance, as they assume a position of moral superiority without merit. The Stoic path involves rigorous self-examination, a commitment hypocrites avoid at all costs. They are quick to point out faults in others, but rarely hold themselves accountable. This behavior reveals a lack of internal discipline, suggesting they place more importance on appearances than on actual virtue. Hypocrites act as though their words alone justify them, disregarding the need to align their actions with their proclaimed values. This pattern of hypocrisy can deeply damage relationships, as it breeds distrust and resentment. Others may feel betrayed or manipulated when they realize that the hypocrite's moral judgments are selectively applied. The Stoics warned against being influenced by such individuals, emphasizing that hypocrisy is often a mask for insecurity. By maintaining self-awareness, we can avoid falling for their double standards and remain focused on our own ethical development. Recognizing blatant hypocrisy helps us distance ourselves from those who use morality as a weapon rather than a guide. The Stoic response is to lead by example, demonstrating consistency between words and actions. By doing so, we avoid entanglement with individuals whose hypocritical nature might otherwise disrupt our peace. Sign 8. Love bombing. Love bombing is an intense and overwhelming display of affection, often used to establish control in a relationship. The Stoics advise caution in forming attachments too quickly, as intense emotions can cloud judgment. Love bombing creates a false sense of security, making one feel valued and cherished, but it's often a tactic to gain rapid trust and influence. This behavior is manipulative, as it sets a foundation for dependency rather than a balanced partnership. Over time, love bombers shift from intense affection to emotional distance or control, destabilizing the other person. This tactic keeps the recipient in a state of confusion, unsure of where they stand. The Stoics would advise maintaining emotional boundaries, recognizing that true respect and love develop gradually, not through exaggerated displays. When someone showers you with affection too soon, it's wise to question the authenticity behind it. Love bombing often conceals a deeper desire to manipulate and control. The Stoic approach to relationships is one of moderation, where each person retains autonomy rather than relying heavily on the other for validation. Those who engage in love bombing seek to break down these boundaries, creating dependence to wield control. By recognizing this tactic, we protect ourselves from emotional exploitation. To counteract love bombing, the Stoic practice of self-control and mindfulness is essential. By staying grounded and observing intentions, we avoid becoming entangled in a relationship rooted in manipulation. The Stoics teach us to cultivate inner strength, which allows us to remain independent and discerning, even in the face of overwhelming affection. Sign 9. Public shaming. Some individuals use public shaming as a tool to assert control and gain social power over others. Publicly pointing out faults or mistakes is often less about correcting behavior and more about reinforcing a social hierarchy. The Stoics caution against engaging in gossip or slander, as these behaviors degrade both the subject and the speaker. Public shaming is a harmful practice, as it focuses on humiliating rather than encouraging growth. Public shaming allows the person shaming others to appear morally superior. By singling out others' perceived faults, they divert attention from their own shortcomings. The Stoics teach that virtue is cultivated privately through self-reflection, not by publicly judging others. This practice of shaming reflects insecurity, as it reveals a need to boost one's social standing at the expense of others' dignity. The psychological impact of public shaming can be severe, leaving lasting scars on an individual's self-esteem. Stoic wisdom urges us to avoid adding to others' suffering and instead extend empathy. Those who engage in public shaming may do so out of a desire for control or validation, wielding shame as a weapon. Recognizing this behavior allows us to shield ourselves from its harmful effects. In resisting public shaming, Stoicism teaches us to act with dignity, avoiding the pitfalls of humiliation-based control tactics. By cultivating inner strength and empathy, we rise above the impulse to judge or be judged in public. Embracing this principle helps us foster mutual respect and avoid the toxicity of those who manipulate others through shame. Sign 10. Emotional stonewalling. Stonewalling is the act of shutting down communication, often used to punish or control others. This tactic forces the other person into a state of uncertainty, creating an imbalance in the relationship. The Stoics teach that healthy relationships are built on open dialogue and mutual respect, where differences are addressed rather than avoided. Stonewalling disrupts this balance, leading to frustration and emotional tension. For those experiencing stonewalling, the Stoics recommend remaining calm and composed. Allowing oneself to be affected by another's silence gives them power. This behavior is designed to create insecurity and dependence as the victim becomes anxious for communication. Stonewalling is, therefore, a subtle form of control that erodes trust over time. Stonewallers often refuse to acknowledge issues, using silence as a weapon to evade accountability. The Stoics advise practicing emotional resilience in the face of such behavior. When someone repeatedly resorts to stonewalling, it's crucial to recognize it as a form of manipulation rather than genuine conflict resolution. Developing patience and inner strength allows us to maintain our own peace. To counteract stonewalling, maintaining self-respect and emotional independence is essential. Stoicism encourages us to avoid letting others' silence disturb our peace, keeping our dignity intact. By responding with clarity and assertiveness, we dismantle the power stonewallers attempt to wield, reinforcing a sense of self-worth and emotional stability. Evil, in its many forms, often hides in plain sight. Recognizing these signs empowers you to protect your peace, remain calm, and make choices rooted in wisdom rather than fear. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control others, we can control our response. Embrace these insights to guard your mind and spirit from those who would cloud it with deception. If these lessons resonate with you, help us reach more people by liking this video and subscribing. And share your thoughts in the comments. What's one situation where you felt these strange vibrations from someone? Your experience might help others navigate similar challenges. Remember, at Stoic Resonate, we're building a community committed to growth, resilience, and inner peace. Join us on this journey and let's face these challenges together.